Alright, this video is going to be about the interior. The first thing I'll point out is I do have fire extinguishers, one here under the driver's seat and also one under the passenger seat. You'll also notice I've got an in-cab winch controller. It's very convenient to have it there. You don't have to have the cable. The seats are old Hunsaker brand bucket seats. They've worked well. I traded them for my stock seats, somebody off of Craigslist back in the day, and they've served their purpose, but they're starting to break down. You can see the getting a little bit ragged, and the padding's broken down there, and then in the back, padding's not as good as it used to be, so I could see replacing those sometime in the near future, but they're still okay. And then I'm also running Crow Enterprises 5-point harness. Always wear your shoulder harnesses. I can't believe how many people they install 5-point harnesses and then they never use the shoulder harnesses. They just use the lap belt, and that defeats the purpose. Over here is another look at the interior cage work. You can see, yeah, how I've got it tied in here to the B pillar. Down inside there. These boxes are, they just cover the hole that I cut in the floor for the 4-links suspension. They don't get in the way. You can still have plenty of foot room. Alright, so here's the dash. It's pretty much stock. I just added a few things. First of all, this is just off-road lights. This is to a fuse box I've got. When I activate this, then I can, it sends power so that I can turn on my air lockers or off-road lights or whatnot. I did upgrade to a double din. This is a Toto head unit. It's nothing too special, it just serves the purpose. And then obviously replace the stock bezel with this double din bezel. Wasn't that hard to install. There's some videos online. You got to cut out some of the plastic on the inside to get that to fit. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. The only thing I don't like about it is it comes with a GPS antenna, which I put, it's either that one or this one up in the corner, and for some reason the GPS antenna doesn't work, so I don't get a signal through that, but I can deal with that. I don't really run any fancy sound system or anything. It just goes to, you know, this stock speakers, which obviously I upgraded to just some Kenwood speakers, but I don't have an amp or a sub or anything like that. So down here, let's see, you can see my shifters for my Atlas. It's a 3.8 to 1 2-speed, and here's my locker switches, my ARBs. These switches down here are just off-road lights, like rock lights. This switch here is a line lock for the brakes, so it locks the rear brakes in case I need it, because I don't have a parking brake. But honestly, I hardly ever use it. Okay, so let's see. Let me turn it on, and I'll show you. So it's got 104,000 miles all original. And here's the main screen. And if I put it in reverse, I don't know if you can see this, but it does. I did install the backup camera. I used the one that is a Toto brand, and the camera itself is actually right on top of the rear diff. So when I'm off-road, I can see what's right behind the axle, and that's come in handy quite a bit. I really like that feature. And then while I still have this on, I'll show you. So this gauge down here is air pressure. It shows me how much air is in my onboard air system. Normally I pressurize it up to 115 psi, and then there's a cutoff switch. It can't go above that because that's what is required for the ARB lockers. I think it's between 85 and 115 psi, something like that. Here's the switch to my compressor. It's pretty loud, but it doesn't matter. It's only on for about 30 seconds to pressurize the system, and then it automatically turns off, and it usually stays pressurized for half the day when I'm out wheeling, so it works pretty good. Now next I'll show you what's in the rear. Alright, here's the back cargo area of the Jeep. I will point out really quick that I did just replace the headliner a few months ago since it was sagging. You also see my Fox coilover shock reservoirs, remote reservoirs come through the floor, and I have them mounted to the cage there. Obviously same thing on that side. I've got my air compressor, which is an Extreme Air Magnum. It's 100% duty cycle, and I used to have the Viair compressor, and it worked great, but now that I have 39-inch tires, I really need something more powerful for when I want to air up. But the air compressor is also used to run the ARB lockers. See, I've got a gauge over here too, so I can see what it is. I've got a quick connect hose that I can attach my air hose to fill the tires. And over here you can maybe see that that's where the solenoids are for the ARB lockers. And I also have it plumbed out to here. See, it comes out underneath, and it ties into the 2x6 rocker on this side because I turned this into an air tank. So just had to cap it off and seal it really good. Gotta have good welds to keep it airtight. And so this is an air tank, and it holds roughly 3 gallons. It's the equivalent of a 3-gallon air tank, so that works well. And then what you're probably wondering about is what this box is. And that holds my gas tank. Let me open it up for you and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Okay, so here's the inside of the box, and you can see the stock fuel tank. The only thing I probably should have done is swap this out for a ZJ fuel tank, which holds stock. It's like 23 gallons instead of 20. And then if you drill out the vent hose, you can fit a little more than 24 gallons in it. I did that with my daughter's Cherokee, and it works great. But either way, this is fine. I'm running stainless steel braided fuel lines all the way to the front, And you'll notice that the tank is rotated 180 degrees, which is why the filler hoses are on this side. And I had to relocate the gas cap over to the passenger side instead of where it should be on the driver's side. Now, why did I do that? Well, the reason is underneath here. When I designed my rear suspension, I wanted to move the axle back 5 inches to stretch the wheelbase. And you know, I've got the truss over the axle, and then the links mount above the truss. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough clearance so that when the suspension cycles or compresses, that it's not going to hit the fuel tank. And let's see if I can show you. So this is just one flat piece of steel plate across frame rail to frame rail, and that serves as the bottom of the box, and it's flush, so there's no gas tank or gas tank skid hanging below the rear bumper. And I don't know if you can see this, but it does angle up here, so when you rotate the tank 180 degrees, you have this, it angles up to the front instead of the stock tank in the stock location actually angles up in the back. So that creates a lot of clearance as well above the rear diff. And then while I'm down here, I'll point out this is the backup camera right there, which is right above the diff. So that's pretty much it for the interior. I probably missed something, but anyways, stay tuned. There will be more to come.